Hello everybody, Larry Young here again with another segment of OLaMan Living Life with Purity. And today I want to talk about common sense. Now, common sense had kind of left the room for a number of years when we had the last presidential administration in there doing their work, trying to do so many things to try to destroy the good basic things in our country, our foundations. A lot of these things were trying to be turned over because a group of people with liberal, left-leaning, woke ideas decided that they knew better, that they had the moral imperative to be making these changes and telling children, little boys, that they're actually little girls, and we can make you better by cutting that little thing off down there, and then you'll feel much better. Or the same thing with girls, to try to turn them into boys by mutilating their bodies and cutting their breasts off and telling them, now go out and get them now, champ, you're going to win the league. These are not good ideas. These are not workable things. And fortunately, the world now has come back around. The pendulum swung so far the one way, and people said, this is batshit crazy. Let's get back to where I feel normal again. And so everything's kind of come back to the middle. And what it's done is it's totally pissed off all these people over here that are fragging right now. They don't know how to think. And one of the groups that's run into the corner of these people over here are our churches. And I don't think there's a single church leader out there today who is not still in agreement and pushing for the agendas of these people on the left, especially because their NGOs are at stake. Now, what's an NGO? An NGO is a non-governmental organization. Everyone says, well, that doesn't sound like it could be bad. What's wrong with a non-government organization? Well, the thing is, the NGOs, everyone thought were just charities. But, you have like, was it Midwestern charities or whatever, and you got Catholic charities. And, there's like a million of them. Literally a million of these things. And so many of these groups got put on the payroll of the State Department through the Biden administration, and they were getting billions of dollars. Billions with a B. And what they were doing, and they were put to use to do, was the things that the U.S. government was forbidden to do by law. So what the government did was they contracted all this stuff out to these church people who were glad to put their hand out and say, gimme, 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 gimme. These priests and bishops and cardinals that we have out there in the Catholic Church. And I don't know what the Lutherans threw out there. Their people were out there. They were getting money too. Because all of these, immigrants who've come across the border the last several years, they didn't walk the whole way across Mexico or any country at all. They were all loaded onto buses. They had overnight places for them to stay and rest up along the way. This was all organized. And it's been one of the biggest frauds put upon Western man, I think, ever. It's huge. That, along with the COVID lies that happened, which was part of their whole deal, was to shut things down and put people, freeze them into place so that they could go about doing their things without all these watchful eyes on them. Well, something happened last week with the Trump administration through its State Department, suspended all payments to these NGOs. Whoa! Did that ever set off a firestorm? My golly. Everyone got organized. All these church people, whether it be Protestant, whether it be whatever church they're going to, Catholic or whatever, all these priests and people in leadership with these NGOs and Catholic charities is the one that I got from. I got 2 letters from 2 different priests telling me to talk about Catholic charities in a derogative way because they do such wonderful work, that I am causing calumny. And they are not seeing what they are doing is actually against the nature of the agreement that the American people have with their charities. The American people, I believe, are the most generous people on the face of the earth. And I think that among those, the conservatives are even more generous than liberals. Generally. Now, you're going to find outtake situations, and that's fine. But these priests and bishops and everyone with their notes going out to people to say, don't speak bad about Catholic Charities because Catholic Charities does so good for these people. Well, what you did, it's always easy to spend somebody else's money if there's no care or concern as to how it's spent. Anyone who's out spending that money on somebody else comes off looking like the good guy. Well, they didn't have anything to do with that money getting there. They didn't have to go out and work, do a work product to kind of come up with that money. They just go to work, and that's their job, is to move these people around. So call it what you will, but it was one of the largest human trafficking operations in the history of the world. And all these church people were complicit in that because their job was to go to South America, load the buses up, get these people to the border, get them across the border to where these folks then come into this country then, and they join the ranks of the unemployed, and they start getting welfare, and they get more help than a pregnant mother with 3 existing babies in her home would get per individual. They didn't even have to bring babies. These are the individual single guys. This was not right. And to cry foul on this is very, very disingenuous for these people. So I'm hoping that the people who run these organizations get their shit together and realize that what they've done was basically theft. And it was a lie. And they need to atone for that. And they need to get their actions straight here because this is not good. What you've done is you've discredited the work of the good stuff that's going on that you're trying to do, and that is to feed people. If Catholic Charities need somebody to help, look around them. All anyone need do is to walk, 5,000 feet out their parish doors or church doors. You will find plenty of people in your own neighborhood that need help. So don't tell me that you have to go all the way to South America to find somebody to help, and the only way to help them is to bring them here. When it's far better to help them where they are, fix them, give them the support to create economic engines in their own communities, and then sit there and maintain their life with their family and friends and build that community, help it join the world economy, not the other way around, because bringing them here isn't doing anything. They want to try, somebody has to come and pick the crops. Somebody has to do all that. With all the people that they brought in, less than 1% of the people that crossed the border in the last 4 years are doing anything to touch any kind of agricultural product. The other 99+% are living in the cities collecting welfare. They're not even coming close to a blueberry or a carrot or a head of broccoli. There isn't anything close to agricultural status for these people at all. I haven't seen any sprawling farms or avocado trees in New York or Boston or Chicago. If they're there, let me know. But this is not what's going on. So stop the gaslighting. Let's get this common sense back in gear here. I'm so glad that the conservatives have taken the common sense label, because if the liberals want to try to fight against the common sense, they don't have much at all to stand on, because theirs is just nut job city. So with that, I love you, and I'll be back.